The balance of political power in upheaval after raunchy online messages with teenage boys sink a Florida congressman who once crusaded against sexual predators who use internet to target kids. Republican Mark Foley abruptly up and quitting yesterday after sexually explicit online conversations with underage former congressional pages surfaced. The instant messages obtained by ABC News show the congressman talking dirty to the teens. In one of the exchanges, Foley asking, quote, "How is my favorite young stud doing?" And from there, the conversation takes an explicit turn. Now some Democrats charging Republican leaders knew about the emails for months, but kept it quiet for fear of losing a key seat in Congress. The House voting unanimously to launch an investigation into the messages. This as the GOP scrambles to find a replacement just 38 days before the midterm elections. Molly Line on Fox Top Story, live from New York. Molly?
That's right, Brett. The Foley factor may cost the Republicans at least one seat in the House, maybe more, as Democrats demand a full investigation. They want to know who among the powerful Republicans knew what, when, and were the dirty details buried for political purposes. Florida Congressman Mark Foley resigned in disgrace yesterday amid allegations that he sent sexually explicit messages over the internet to a former House page. The disturbing transcripts obtained by ABC News appear to show Foley identifying himself by the screen name MAF54. He chats with a teenage boy. Foley compliments the former page, asking for information on his clothing and body. They discuss masturbation, sex organs. The conversation ends when the teen says he has homework to do. Foley's resignation leaves Republicans rushing to find a viable candidate within just 6 weeks before Election Day. Possibilities include Florida State Senator Jeffrey Atwater and Florida State Representative Joe Negron. Meanwhile, the Democratic challenger is getting a big boost. Businessman Tom Mahoney now stands a much better chance of winning. Former presidential candidate John Kerry campaigning for him today in Florida, as Mahoney declared that Republicans didn't do enough.
The fact that the Republican leadership apparently knew about this for over a year and that they were more concerned with holding power in the House than taking care of somebody who was potentially being a predator with our kids entrusted to our elected leaders says that there's a lot of problems with the priorities of Washington.
Democrats are now pressuring a number of key Republicans, demanding to know who among congressional leaders knew about Foley's alleged contact with the former page. Suspicions regarding Foley's conduct first came to light in 2005. The chairman of the House Page Board questioned Foley back then, but the congressman denied that he had done anything inappropriate. House Majority Leader Republican John Boehner told the Washington Post that he learned about Foley's allegedly inappropriate messages in the spring, then told House Speaker Dennis Hastert. But later, Boehner reportedly changed his story, saying he couldn't remember if Hastert was contacted. Tom Reynolds, chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee, is also facing accusations. Democrats say Reynolds, who is running for re-election in New York, knew about Foley for some time but did nothing. Reynolds released a statement today explaining that he was told about the emails, reported the information, and that an inquiry followed. In a very strange twist, Foley recently helped pass legislation to toughen sex offender registry laws. The Foley matter is under investigation by the House Ethics Committee.
Hi, John. Well, most members of Congress hurried home early in the morning to return home to campaign for re-election. The Republican leadership hunkered down here, struggling with how to deal with the Mark Foley scandal and his resignation from the House. More than a day after this story broke about Foley's salacious emails to a 16-year-old boy, a former congressional page, there has been a deepening sense of revulsion among rank-and-file Republicans over the lack of reaction and intervention in the Foley email matter by House GOP leaders. House leaders, including the Speaker, issued a brief initial statements yesterday, and it became clear that at least 3 House leaders knew something was wrong last year. And according to initial reports anyway, only one member confronted Foley about the matter. Well, just a few hours ago, Republican House leaders issued a news statement saying, in light of the Foley story, Congress must do more to create, quote, a safe environment for House pages. According to this joint statement, the improper communication between Congressman Mark Foley and former House congressional pages is unacceptable and abhorrent. It is an obscene breach of trust. His immediate resignation must now be followed by the full weight of the criminal justice system. That last reference, John, acknowledges there could be criminal implications to this. The House has already voted to refer the Foley matter to the House Ethics Committee for an investigation. But the question is, were any laws broken with the emails and instant messages to current and former House pages? First made public by ABC News. One person who is in a position to know is Mark Foley himself. He was the chair of the House Caucus on Missing and Exploited Children and is credited with writing the sexual predator provisions in the Child Protection and Safety Act. Tonight's statement by House GOP leaders also calls on the House Page Board to do a full review, and it calls for the creation of a new toll-free hotline for House pages, parents, and staff members to report any problems on Capitol Hill. John.
Julie, the statement out of Hastert's office said even months after the House leadership was looking into the Foley matter, people like Hastert and Boehner did not know what was in these emails. They didn't know exactly what was said. Now that everyone is scandalized because we do know what they say,
right.
Is that credible? Could they have been looking into this that long without saying, hey, somebody get that text in here. I want to see what he actually said.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I mean, I think that's possible, but according to the initial statements anyway, only one member of Congress confronted Foley and actually went up to him and asked, what's the deal here? And of course, Foley said there was nothing wrong. So I think that is a key question. Why didn't they try to find out what was going on between the pages and the former pages and this member of the House?
Secondly, is there another page?
Yeah, in this statement by the leadership tonight, just a few hours ago, they say pages. So it's really not clear how many there were. Some of the reports say current and former pages. So there certainly could be more people involved, young people, teenagers involved with this.
Julie Kurtz in our Washington Bureau. Julie, thank you very much.